Did anyone ever tell you about Bruges? You see, if they did, you would already have been there. So if you haven't, I guess no one ever did. Someone once told me the story of the medieval city located in the north of Belgium, looking like straight out of a fairy tale. About a city like Amsterdam being filled with canals and sometimes even referred to as the Venice of the North. Of how the city, known for its beers, had bars and cafes all over offering tasting menus of all the tasty Belgian craft brews. Of all the luxurious chocolates being at display in the town's many shops. Of the smell of freshly prepared waffles in the air. And boy, did I fell for it. And a few years ago, we went on our monthly-long honeymoon after we got married. We saved Bruges for last. Finally, we were to see the city of fairy tales. But sometimes, things don't turn out like you imagine it. When we arrived, we had more or less spent all the money we had during our long journey. The summer had turned to fall, and Bruges met us with cold and winds. And after the 3 nights we stayed, we left with a somewhat bittersweet feeling of disappointment and said that although we agreed the town was nice, we would probably not returning. But sometimes a place needs to grow on you. We got home, time went by, and as we started to watch our movie from it, we slowly understood how much we actually loved it. For us, Bruges needed time. Now, it's one of those places we wish to get back to most. So this is not only the story of Bruges, but of how to experience it on the most strict budget possible, but still really see it for what it is. A true fairy tale that's calling you back. Make sure to subscribe, share and hit the like button to help us grow and make sure that you never miss any of our new content. Bruges is located in the province of the West Flandern and is the 6th largest city in Belgium seen to population, with around 120,000 people, of which 20,000 lives within the city itself. The city was occupied by the Germans in both the First and Second World War, but was luckily enough more or less totally spared from damage, today making it one of the best preserved medieval towns in Europe. Since the 2000 it has been on UNESCO's World Heritage Site. The city is quite small and can easily be explored on foot completely in an hour or two, with the tower of the medieval church of the Old Lady that reaches 115 meters tall being seen from more or less all places around town. Also being the 2nd highest brick tower building in the world. Like I stated earlier, Bruges is famous for its craft beer, with a lot of bars offering tasting packages and shops selling a wide variety of bottles for you to take home. Chocolate, waffles, fries and Christmas decorations can also be found scattered around town, as well as a great number of museums ranging from art to beer and chocolate. We arrived to Bruges on a cold day in September. The hotel was already prepaid for, but we were, however, after almost a month of traveling, left with around 150 euros in our pockets to spend on our 3-day stay. And just by looking at some of the menus, it was pretty quickly decided that restaurants in Bruges was far off our budget. So we started to explore the town on foot. And boy, were we not disappointed. Looking back on it now, just strolling around this mesmerizing fairy tale of a town is what makes me want to go back in the first place. Or actually second place, since the Belgian brewing is world class. After an hour or two walking around, we found ourselves sitting down in a very cozy place named Cathedral, where we had our first try of the local gold, in Bruges Sot. A beer that is literally made inside this charming town, and a pretty damn good one if you ask me. We loved this place so much and we actually returned to it the next day as well. And for some strange reason, we were totally alone on both visits. Cathedral also provided really good snacks with our beers. After spending some amazing time in Cathedral, we went back to our hotel to get ready for the evening. We stayed at the Hotel Ter Brughe, just a short walk from the main square, where we found a really nice price on booking some time in advance. Located in the peaceful old quarter of St. Gilles between the Augustine and the Tower Bridge, in a very old yet stylish building dating back all the way to 1470. All rooms in Ter Brughe are unique, and the hotel also hosts a very small yet extremely cozy bar, which I will get back to. Other hotels in Bruges we looked into before going was the Grand Hotel Casselbergh, dating back to the 1500s, which also hosts a nice bar as well as an amazing rooms both in the old part of the hotel as well as in the new one. You will also find a wellness center offering hammam, a sauna as well as a Turkish bath. As a bit more luxurious offer, I still think is within reason for a couple of nights, is the Hotel the Orangerie, set in the old monastery from the 1400s. Set on the Diever Canal, it offers a luxurious upgrade for somewhat 50 euros more than the previous mentioned hotels. Having amazingly cozy rooms, a cafe terrace set on the canal literally, and a lounge bar offering cocktails, as well as traditional British afternoon tea. Finally, as a much more budget-friendly option, still within the city center, I can recommend looking into Canalview Hotel Ter Reien, offering great deals on booking for your stay in Bruges. Well, after getting ready, we went back into the night. It was also then that we realized how Bruges magic really comes alive at night. How the main square had changed somewhat in a couple of hours into something completely different. We stayed in a shop to get some beers to take back to the hotel later, and then went for a somewhat cheap dinner at a Pizza Hut. Walking home, we detoured to watch the canals glimmer at night. Looking back at this footage make me wonder why I at the moment didn't think of Bruges as one of the most beautiful places I've ever visited. I surely do now, and I did enjoy it, but couldn't for some stupid reason help but to feel disappointed over the fact that we didn't have money enough to visit a traditional restaurant and try some of the famous Belgian cuisine, or about the weather being a bit cold. How strange when you think about it now. But this is, I guess, the true reason to why I end all my videos by saying it's not about the destination, it's what you make of it that counts. And I should obviously have felt humble of being able to spend time here instead of focusing on the wrong things. Finally, back at the hotel, we spent the last part of the evening in our cozy bar with a drink before calling it a night. The second day started with a morning walk to find some breakfast. I stopped for a cheap but fulfilling burger on the way at the local McDonald's before visiting some stores for a salad that Nadia got and took back to the hotel to enjoy in our room, while I had a coffee made from the room accompanied by a small tasting bag of those luxurious Belgian chocolates from Godiva that I bought on my way back and that my overweight body clearly didn't need but for some reason still craved. When the food was eaten, the coffee and chocolate gone, it was once again time to hit the streets for yet another day of exploring this wonder of a city. The day was cold, and since we didn't bring clothes planned for this climate on our trip, we needed some visiting to shops every now and again to warm up. This is also why we first found out about the German brand stores named Kette Wohlfahrt, selling amazing Christmas decoration, which we since then have been visiting as a must on all trips to cities that have a store ever since then for some decoration shoppings. After a long day enjoying and exploring all that the town has to offer, we once again landed in Cathedral for a sit-down, enjoying a local Bruges sot along some free snacks and once again all by ourselves. On our way back home, we visited a deli store that we found during the day, where we stopped for some delicious delis that we took back to the hotel. We then set up our table in the room for a nice cozy dinner with a nice playlist of lounge music set in the background. The night ended in a bit different way than the usual holiday nights, with us just hanging out in the room. Nadia was painting and I was playing some rounds of Magic before going to sleep. The last day started by exploring the last parts of town as well as finally try some of the famous waffles on a bench with a stunning background. I chose one with some bananas, chocolate, marshmallows and cream as my toppings, and it was exactly as good as you think it was. Later that afternoon, it was finally time for the one thing we had been looking forward to the entire time spent here. Something that I would have done every day if our budget would have allowed us to, some beer tastings. And since we only had the money to do it once, I had been looking into which one to go with since the second we set foot in this fairy tale of a town. So with that being said, here it is. After carefully considering which tasting pub to visit, we ended up with 2B. Mostly famous for its glass wall of beer bottles, this bar also hosts a huge shop in the cellar where you can find a great deal of beers to take home. The bar itself offers 3 different tasters, a local, a light and finally a strong taster. Each one comes with 4 different beer tasters as well as information of the crafts and some snacks and are each 10 euros. This is also the first time ever that I tried speaking English in front of the camera in plans of doing this kinds of videos. Obviously one thing you have to do is do the tryouts of beers. I mean, this is obviously one of the biggest reasons to go to Bruges anyway. So you can choose any 4 beers in this particular place. There are lots of places where you can do beer tryings and beer testings and everything, and it varies in prices and obviously how many beers you will get. In this specific place we paid about 10 euros and you get 4 beers. The one that I enjoyed first was this one with coconut. Bieratelier is another famous destination because they offer a tasting of as much as 12 beers served on a tasting float. The Halve Maan brewery is, like the name states, a real Belgian brewery in the middle of the city center, where the local Bruges sot, which we tried earlier in the bar, is brewed. Out in their courtyard you can indulge in some of the local favorites, maybe paired with a lunch if you want. They also offer a 45-minute guided brewery tour for 15 euros per person, which also includes a tasting. Finally, the home of the Belgian beer Duvel can be found in the Duvelorium Grand Beer Café. The bar overlooks the main square and offers some really good delights. They also offer tastings for 12 euros each, including 3 beers of your choice. The next day, we began our journey home and found ourselves in a hotel in Hanover, having a beer in the hotel's bar. We talked of how we felt about Bruges and decided that we liked it, but probably wouldn't go back. It seems so strange to me looking back at it. I think that visiting Bruges under the circumstances we did, with more or less no money and with the weather of fall surprising us, made us forget how lucky we are to even be able to travel and discover the world. And later that year, when the winter and darkness slowly set over our home in Sweden, watching our videos made us question why we felt that way to start with. Bruges is just amazing, but sometimes, for reasons unknown, some experiences needs time. Some places need to be revisited in your mind before you realize what you went through, and that's okay. Life is like that in general. I'm sure that you have a lot of memories of moments you enjoy, although you didn't enjoy them when they happened. They grow on you from within your mind, like a fine bottle of wine, maturing in a cellar, just being better year after year. For us, Bruges was like that. Today, we list it as one of the best places we visited, and we can't wait to get back. And when we do, I will enjoy it in a completely different way, and I will make another guide of this magical place that Bruges is. And never has my phrase seemed more true than in this case, because it's not about the destination, it is what you make of it that counts. Till next time, stay safe.
Yeah.